So we're able to complete this. All use cases we're able to complete. Shall I proceed to the next one?
Ranjit, fifth one I haven't tried.
Okay. It's similar to your the other example, contact. You have to declare an object of object with field values, name, stage name, amount, close rate. Okay, will you try that later? Others have done.
No, I have health issue. So I'm in hometown, so I'm not fully completed. I will complete it on Thursday. Wednesday night
See,
I will travel to Chennai. So I will complete Thursday.
we have to track, see, we have to track the Uttaraj, right? Uttaraj and Rajeshwar. So we will track the status, right? Okay, going forward, I'll add and share this sheet with you all so that you can update regularly. And I'm going to add one more sheet for trailhead. We have trailheads, right? Yeah. Here I will add the trailhead links. Trailhead links, yeah. So you mark your status here, completed or not. Later, not now. Right. I just give some brief idea about CSS thing. Maybe all of you are familiar with the CSS, right? Of course, you may need more practice. Okay, this session is not to cover in detail about CSS, but I just give a brief reference a session on the box model in CSS, okay, and basics of CSS. So what is CSS? What is CSS? Cascade style sheet, isn't it? A cascade CS nothing but cascade style sheet, which is used to style your document. The document in the sense the page, the HTML page, the HTML document. You style with the help of CSS language, right? So every web page you are seeing is styled with the help of CSS coding. So you see here the page, current page, right? You have a button with rounded corner, and we have a green background and white font, and the font, the text inside the button, and the border of the button having some space, right? And when you keep the cursor, you see there is a difference in the color, right? The appearance of uh, the background color, right? It's becoming dark. It's focusing, highlighting, isn't it? So all these are all you can also implement in your HTML with help of CSS, right? Everything is CSS here, isn't it? Uh, you have a space between this, and this is looks there's a space between these two, right? And there is space between these left bar, left component, and the content. So everything is CSS, right? So CSS is nothing but cascade style sheet language. It is used to style your web page. Okay, and how the language, the important property elements of the language. The language has two important things. One is a property, another is a value. Am I audible? Able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. We have a property value. So CSS property, and so for example, the property is the color of the button, for example. So when you say color, it can be applicable for a button, it can be applicable for text, isn't it? So the property is nothing but a color. If you take a font, the font can be a part of button, the font can be a part of a regular paragraph, isn't it? But the property is going to be text. Like that, the first one is going to define a property colon value. So this is one single property value. If you have multiple property, then you're going to have you're going to separate the two properties by semicolon. Okay. In this example, no, they given a color. The color is basically blue, or you define it red or anything, direct color. Okay. And this is a property font size, defining the font size. So the font size 12 pixel. The pixel is a unit. You'll use it in web page. The pixel is a unit. You'll use it in web page, or we'll use it in percentage. Okay. So 12%, 10%. So and what about this? Where do you like to apply this property? Where do you like to apply this in the HTML page? Okay. So whether you'd like to apply into a heading or a paragraph or a division. So which part of the HTML page you would like to apply this property? So that's nothing but selector. So this example, they are applying this property blue 12 font size to the HTML property, which means HTML tag h1. Okay, right. So here you see, you forget about this HTML doc type and all. This is for regular web page. You can directly use this in your. You will use it in different form in your LWC. Okay, I just session to give a idea about CSS. Later you'll see styling into LWC later. Okay, now we have two paragraphs in the HTML page, isn't it? So applying the red color for the paragraph. So they given the selector P, right? The HTML where you like to apply the styling, and and multiple CSS property separated by semicolon. They aligned it like this. You can also keep it like this. Okay, and whole thing is enclosed by braces, right? So the color is red. You see the right side, no preview, and the text is aligned at the center of the page. You like to change it and try? Let's try this, isn't it? Like this. Okay. To know more about what are the properties, then you will see they given all different properties with a separate link. You can go through it. Okay. So remember, when you go through this tutorial, you first time when you see it, it looks very familiar to you. You'll able to understand it simply, But when you revisit it again, when you work on the correct any pages you want, you will struggle because it is very simple. It is very simple. You just copy it and paste it, and you demonstrate it. But instead, you have to take one page and styling it from the scratch, recalling all the CSS attribute and applying it randomly and styling it. That is how we can practice this CSS. You see this example, copy paste like this and change it. Obviously, you'll forget about the particular property name and the value. Okay, you take one page and apply the styling and practice. Right now, just quick introduction on CSS color. So color is very important, right? So the color can be applicable for text. You can apply the color for background. You can apply the color for border. Anywhere the color is applied. So when you apply the color can be a direct color like a red, green, blue. You know, right? The primary colors, red, green, blue, RGB. The different ratio of these color, you can bring different other colors. So RGB is the main important primary colors, using which you can bring any type of color in proper ratio. You can bring different other colors. Okay, in CSS, we call them intensity. It differs from 0 to 255 range. 0 to 255 range. For example, if you like to bring a black color, the ratio 0 is going to bring a black color. If you add if you add the intensity 255 for a red, green, blue, you'll see everything is white. So in between these two, a different combination of these, you'll be able to bring different sorts of color, other than direct colors, red, green, blue. Okay, so in this combination, they brought some color looks something like orange, right? Like this. So what about if I make it 255? It's going to become white, right? If I make it 0 combination, it's going to become black. So anything in between, you can adjust this ratio. Okay. So how will you apply this? Listen here. Even you can apply here also. For example, in the earlier example, yeah, the color, right? Is this a direct color? No. So I just go with RGB, and we know there are 3 combinations, right? So what is black actually? What is black? Black, right? So if I add different combination, you will see the difference here. Are you able to see the difference here? So this is one way of applying the color. Okay, using the method RGB. Right. So using this formula, they call them formula or method, whatever. You pass the argument, red, green, blue intensity, you will get the color accordingly. Okay, and when you work on this color, in general, you can pick the colors from CSS color picker. It's available in Google as well as in any of the sites you can pick it up. So for example, Google, they given extension. Okay. If I go to, yeah, over here also you can pick it up. So you can yeah, like this. I'm looking for better combination. You can select, Okay, anyway, we'll move on. I don't want to waste more time here. Yeah. So RGB formula method is one way you can apply. Otherwise, you can instead of intensity, you can apply the percentage here. Instead of intensity, you can apply the percentage. So this format is alpha they're adding, right? The transparency they are would like to add the transparency. Okay, between your text and the background. This ratio. The transparency, no transparency basically referred by the alpha parameter 1, full transparency referred by 0. By default, I think it's a full transparency. Okay, it defines the opacity of the color. And coming down the percentage, yeah, HSL. Okay, yes. So this is it stands for hue, saturation, lightness. So yeah, okay. Right. So here they given us hue is a degree of color from 0 to 360. Okay, it ranges from 0 to 360, and 0 is red, 120 is green, 240 is blue. If you apply this value, you will get a 120, 240, yeah. And the saturation percentage, 0 means a shade of gray, 100 means a full color. Okay. So if you give 100, it means you apply the full color, and 50 percentage of lightness. You vary this, then the red will looks lighter. If you increase this, the lightness will be increased, like this. You see it, right? The red lightness is increased. If you like it more darker, you reduce this, like this. And the other way is hexadecimal. See, one is a direct color. The direct color, whatever applicable, you can use it, or else the RGB combination and HSL, referring the saturation and lightness, and the other form is hexadecimal. Each color you can also apply in the form of hexadecimal. So for black, it's going to be 0. For white, is going to be F. You cannot mix up on your own. You cannot mix up on your own. You have to choose some color picker like this, and you have to copy this and paste it. That is how you have to use this. Get it? So, and move on to background. What is the property value of CSS background? Background hyphen color, image, repeat. All these are applicable. A background color. So if you see here, the whole paragraph, the page, the background is. If you apply only for the paragraph, for example, only for the paragraph, isn't it? You'd like to apply for that heading, the background. What do you do? Selector, like this, right? Like this you can apply. So applying the why we go for this method, suppose I have multiple paragraphs. So more than one selector, the same selector in the same page, you can apply from the same styling to all the selectors. You need not repeat this, right? Repeating the sense there are other form also you can style the HTML like this. So what happened now? So if I need to apply the stylings red for every paragraph, I need to repeat this, right? We follow this class methodology. You know, right? Class and object. A class will create once, and you can apply it for multiple places. You can refer it multiple places. So that is the use of referring a CSS property in the form of class. Okay, so you just declare your CSS at the top between these two tags. I think you might have experience in your Visual Force page. Okay, right. And so yeah, important in CSS you need to know is CSS box model. Okay. Yeah, this is very important to understand. Every element in your HTML, it can be a paragraph or H1 or a division or an image, anything considered as a box. So what the box consists of? The box consists of a content. For example, if you take here, we have a content. Around the content, we have a padding. Around the content, we have a padding. Okay, the padding can also be separated by left padding, top padding, right padding, bottom padding. The padding around the content. Above the padding, we have a border. Okay, the border has its own thickness. The padding has its own size. How much padding you want? How thickness the border you want? Above the border, we have a margin. The margin is anything above outside the border. The margin is anything outside the border. Suppose I like to set up, space between the two content, two element, then I would consider the padding. And if you like to, highlight the content with some border, then I will focus on border. Then space between the content and how will you arrange the content in the page? Then you will consider the margin. You get my point, all of you? So the understanding the box model will help you to apply the stylings better in when you design your page. Okay, so box model. So example here, they have a division in the selector, right? They're applying this color to some a division. It means HTML tag, like a paragraph. Okay, a block, like your page block in your HTML Visual Force page. A division is nothing but a block of components, a content surrounded by a division. Okay, so they are applying the CSS property width to this and the border. Okay, and the border is given as three different property value. The one property name is border, but the value is there are three different values they are referring here. What is this? Thickness of the border, style of the border. What is this? A color of the border. You got my point? A thickness of the border, style of the border, color of the border, and how much padding you want. So, right, the thickness and the style is solid. So we have different values applicable. Instead of solid, you can put dotted, which means the same style looks like a dotted line, right? You know, in the wordings, right? In the Word document, right? In the Word document, we have a lines, right? We have you can put a lines, and you can choose the color for the lines, isn't it? So you will see. Okay, we have lines, and we have a style of the lines. solid line, graded lines. So like that, you can apply the style of your border. And the color, of course, you can apply a direct color or RGB format or hexadecimal or the other saturation thing. Okay, so you see here, I have this paragraph division. They are applying for division, not for paragraph. Paragraph is as it is, just a heading and a paragraph. They are focusing applying the CSS model, a box model for this paragraph. Okay, now the padding, I remove the padding. I don't apply the padding. Okay, so what happens? The content and the border, there is no spacing, right? So border is here. So the border, I change the styling so the border is dotted. Okay, and the color I just make it as RGB format, for example. You know, the color can be given like this also, right? It's all white, isn't it? And the thickness of the border, you decide, right? Okay, and so how to apply the padding bit? Padding is nothing but the space between the border and the content, isn't it? So padding, I say 5 pixel, the pixel is applied all the 4 sides equally, isn't it? All the 4 sides equally. Like this. Suppose I like to apply the padding, a different padding at the 4 sides. You know, for example, 5 pixel padding, 10 pixel padding at the top, and 20 at the right side. Okay. Then what you have to do? We have a separate the padding property value. For example, if I say uh, padding hyphen top 10px, padding is only applied at the top. You know what are the other property value, right? You can guess it like this, isn't it? Okay, so like this. Is this session useful to you, all of you? Not sure. Just give an idea about. Wanted to give an idea.
Yes, Ranjit.
See here, instead of repeating this property value, you can also do like this, padding. And I mean, if when you are looking for different padding, okay, when you are looking for different padding at the 4 side, you can also go like this. Okay, so like this, if you go for padding, yeah, top right, bottom left. So I can give like this, top right clockwise, okay, bottom and left. I just, for differentiation, I give more padding. Okay, remove this like this. So top right, bottom left. You can also do it in one line CSS property. Okay, so that is how you can vary your apply your CSS in your HTML page. Okay, and other things are quite common. We have CSS property for text. We have CSS property for alignment, icons, links, and tables, everything. Okay, so go through this. Enough for now. You practice this. When you get into LWC example, you can also practice more. Okay, by referring this. And in the case of LWC, um, an LWC developer most of the time uh, spending more time, spending more effort to style the pages, because we are not the core web designer, right? We are all we are just working for we are good at writing the business logic. We are good at domain, right? The Salesforce developers are not core web developers. So when you are a web developer, but now when you're developing an application, any page, it is very mandatory, to design your pages, to run in, to render in a platform with, with more look and feel, and in align with Salesforce Lightning experience look and feel. You get my point? So in order to make the Salesforce developer job easy, the Salesforce has introduced Lightning design system. Salesforce has introduced Lightning design system. Let me give that idea about that. Hold on. Okay. You might have heard about Lightning design system. Lightning design system. What it is? Any comments from your end? What is Lightning design system?
It's a framework of a designing framework from Salesforce.
Yeah, it's a framework. Yeah. So normally when you so far you have seen, right, when you apply any stylings for your page, you always recall the properties, right? It sometimes it get into very complex, aligning your content with respect to other content, and when you apply all the stylings with help of regular CSS property, but that is not incompatible with your Lightning experience stylings, and that may not work properly with other element in the same page. So you see the stylings, and every look and feel in the Lightning experience. The Salesforce is following a unique uh, stylings for every content, isn't it? The unique stylings. So it's it's basically inherited applying from uh, the Salesforce design system. The Salesforce design system. It's a library, nothing but a library. Like uh, we have a library, common library, which contains all these properties. Example, I'm saying. Similarly, Salesforce has provided a library of CSS uh, classes, icons. Icon in the sense, for example, if you go here, we got a specific icons, right? How did this coming from? Where it is coming from? This is not by applying some regular CSS stuff. Regular CSS stuff took a lot of coding, right? You have to find out a regular a background image, right? You have to find a right image, and everything you have to refer from externally in order to bring this type of image. You have to refer it from external library. Okay, but here it's basically a Salesforce library. It's coming from Salesforce library called Lightning Design System. Salesforce Lightning Design System. If you take a every pages you want, we have a lot of icons. You remember, right? We have icons for contact, separate icons, and we have icons everywhere. Like see here the add symbol, and You have a hierarchy, we have a separate icon. So isn't it? And there is a drop down icon. So everything you can, and if you see this, there are many places you can notice this. Yeah. So there are a lot of icons here. All these are coming from the library, Salesforce Lightning Design System. So Salesforce Lightning Design System is, a, a design language. You can see a design language that helps a developer, to create a uniform look and feel for your Lightning pages. Because suppose it is it's very open source. For example, you design the pages with help of different other combination of CSS property. No, the other developer design with his own stylings that may not be unique, that may not be uniform when you deploy that application as part of your Lightning experience. In order to make a uniformity, right? They given a reference. Of course, you can also use CSS, but for a better best practice, you always try to implement the CSS properties from here. When you say CSS property, it is not just going to be a property, it is going to be in the form of class. They given a lot of classes, predefined classes. For example, all this combination, they make it as one class. You just have to know that class name. That's it. You apply it, you will get this stylings directly. You need not work on this combination. You need not work on this combination. For example, there will be a padding I need to apply 5 equals some small spacing around the all the 4 sides. Some spacing I have to apply around the 4 sides equally. Okay. For example, like this. Some equal spacing is applied. Okay. And yeah, for paragraph, I need to apply more padding. For division, I need to apply a less padding. So here, we need to work on the numbers, right? We need to work on the numbers. Okay, but in the case of SLDS, they given a direct reference, a class reference. You see there's a utility section, right? We have a padding. We have padding section. You'll see here, they given a class. Okay, the class are nothing but the combinations of properties together. We know the reusable, combined together. We have a class. So that class you refer it multiple places you want. This class is basically referred from Lightning Design System library. So if you apply this, what happens? It will be applying a padding at the top. Okay. So what is this naming convention? Every CSS, every Lightning Design System class start with a prefix SLDS. Okay. So to better understand this, the naming, you need to understand a little bit about the naming convention of Lightning Design System. Okay. So it is called, what is that? Yeah, block element modifier model, BEM model. Okay, well-known naming. It's a very common naming convention. Okay, for example, if you take a form, for example, a form you take, the form is the user entering some application. For example, there is a form, right? The form is basically a block. A form is basically a block. Okay, and within the form we have a paragraph, we have a heading. So all these are all considered as element. So in this example, there is a main component called house. Okay, so house, and within the house we have a door, windows. Those are all called as element. Okay, so if you like to apply a color for the element, which means for a door or windows, that would be referred by um, a modifier. You get my point? So this is a very general naming convention. Okay. So for example, if you take you will take not this one. I think you have to follow other one. I just give some random idea because there are some exception they follow for these type of padding classes. But anyhow, just have some idea about you need to familiar with the properties by implementing it practically in your example. Okay, the more frequently used CSS lighting design system properties are padding only, padding, margin, applying the font size, color. These are the more frequently used CSS lightning design system classes. Okay, so the element and the mod block will be connected by double underscore. Okay, and the property for the modifier for this particular element will be referred by single hyphen, single double, sorry, one single double underscore. Sorry, single underscore. I'm sorry, single underscore. Okay. For example, you like to apply a referring a pink color property for a door for this the main component, then it will be referred like this. You get my point, all of you? So for example, you see here SLDS hyphen M means this is actually utility class. Okay, you cannot directly expect this naming convention here. For utility class, in the sense they already defined these classes. You can apply these class stylings with this format. SLDS hyphen M, which means referring the margin. How much? Where do you like to apply that margin? On the top. How much margin you like to apply? Medium. You get my point? So like this. Okay, and if you get into the
Hi, Ranjit, sorry to interrupt. Here,
yeah,
SLDS, F and M is margin. The property of margin specification is top, right?
correct.
So what is underscore medium?
This medium, they given some predefined pixel. For example, 5 pixel. If you apply medium, it's going to be 5 pixel. If you go with a smaller, it will be maybe a 2 pixel. If you go with the large, so the standard pixel will be applied by changing this, the last qualifier. If this is as an example, okay. If you go into the detail,
Okay.
hold on. This as an example. I'll show
Okay.
the detail here in the utility. Yeah, you'll see all these available, combinations given here. If you see here, the classes are always prefixed by SLDS hyphen M hyphen. So this is used to add the margin. And like padding, we have SLDS hyphen P hyphen, right? And the directions of that class, where do you like to apply the margin? Where do you like to apply the padding? These are the 4 combinations are allowed values. Like in CSS, we have a margin hyphen left, margin hyphen top, isn't it? Like this. And whether you like to apply, you can use the vertical shortcut for both top and bottom. Okay, horizontal for to apply top and bottom together, we use a vertical. Okay, so let's get into the example first. So if you use XXX small, it defines its size, the inbuilt sizes. Okay, so they given here the basic unit they follow for spacing is 4 pixel, I believe, 4 pixel. Okay, coming down here, you just try various combination. That's it. See here, it is a 0 padding, a 0 margin, no padding, no margin at all. Just like to give, no margin at all. Triple X small, some margin is applied more than this unit. You'll see, right? There is a gap they trying to vary, show you the difference, X like this, or else instead of going with the X unit, you just give us a small, medium, little bit more, large, more padding. This is how you apply the paddings. There are a lot of combinations they given. If you come down, yeah, for bottom, okay, and for example, around everywhere we have around the margin, around the small margin is around all the sides. Okay, so refer here and use it for your designing your pages. They given some reference here, right? See, this actually REM is nothing but the dynamically it will adjust the stylings in any browser you render. Basically, the important property of this is cross browser compatible CSS, which means anywhere, any browser, any different types of browser, you'll able to see the pages uniformly. Okay, and makes sense. Will you don't go much deeper. When you get time, you go deeper. But for now, you just go with the predefined CSS SLDS classes and apply it. Okay. With this one quick example. Okay. I'm going to apply the CSS for lightning card. You guys know about lightning card? Any idea? What is lightning card? Lightning card is a kind of component, right? Standard component. It is available in ARA as well as LWC. It is used to make a container, group the different components inside one container. In other words, I just go into straightforward example. You'll see there is a highlight panel at the top, right? So you will see there are some components inside, right? The top header component. The header component is accommodating buttons, icons, title, subtitle, and we have a body below the header. We also have a footer below the body. Okay, so where I can learn all these things? Yeah, you see here, lightning card. It is like grouping the different informations like a header, a body, footer, and the buttons, and it makes as one container. You just have to give the value for the respective attributes. For example, the lightning card has attribute called title. So what happens? The title is exactly fit at the top left. You get it? If you give the title contact, it is exactly fit at the top left. Okay, and you arrange the content like this. So how did they arrange? They given some spacing, right? The padding on the left side, right? The padding between these two columns. This is where you are going to use your SLDS. You get my point? This is where you are going to apply these stylings for your content. You will go for SLDS. But what about the other things? Keep the title at the top left. Keep the button at the top right. That's all taken care by this component. Okay, you get my point? So normally the card will have a header, body, and the footer. So like this. Okay, and I give some title here. Like this. You know what I'm doing, right? So still running. I'm not sure. Wait. What happened? Let me deploy it again. Okay. Yeah. So I'll apply here. Okay. Right. Listen here. I deploy this component. You'll see the title is automatically left, top left justified. Okay. But what about this para? There is no padding, right, between the two elements, which means the lightning card and the content are no spacing at all, right? So what I do now, let us apply the padding for it, right? So how to apply the padding for it? How to apply the padding for it with the help of SLDS? You have a paragraph and a class, isn't it? SLDS hyphen M, or how it is? Hyphen M. You like to apply around like this. So just have to do like this. That's it. So this. You get some margin, right? You get my point, all of you? Will you try this simple example later? Try this simple example later. So here, okay, so try more examples with the CSS classes applying like this. If you like to apply the, some text font styling, okay, you like to apply some font styling, go here and text, your text here, you'll see, and you can combine different other classes simply by with a space. You can apply like this. You get my point? There are two paragraphs, one without heading SLDS text heading large, another with that particular class. Commas with space separated you can do. Yeah, you see the difference, right? You see the difference. So Will you guys try some examples by referring? I'll try to bring some more exercise for you later. And now I'd like to give few more examples on it. Hold on. Yeah, where is it? Yeah. So the card example, right? Card example is more like your highlight panel, isn't it? So we are able to add the title now in our example. So how to bring this icon? How to bring this icon? Listen here. The icons are basically going to refer with help of the attribute called icon hyphen name. Okay, and I said these icons are from SLDS library, right? The icons are from SLDS library. So if you see here, we have icons here. We have icons and icons utility, which means already they're predefined. You can reuse it anywhere you want, right? Utility icons. So, and the category is also there. We have utility, right? And doc type, standard, custom, action. There are different types of. I thought utility is different meaning, but here it's different. Utility icons are simple icons. Okay, and standard icons are referring these Salesforce objects. Actions are again actions like quick actions. Okay, so these are 4 different combinations they given, and custom is also there. For example, I'd like to apply this icon. Say this one, add user. The add user belongs to which icon type? Utility icon type. So you have to refer this by referring the library. Library nothing but utility here. Utility hyphen colon add user. Utility colon add hyphen user, right? Is that so? No hyphen. Sorry. Yeah. You get it, all of you. So I repeat this for different icons. Let's say I like to apply the account info. Belongs to which icon type? Standard, right? Standard hyphen account info. Save. You get it, right? Icons are. So that is how the icons you apply. You apply the icons from CSS library. What about these buttons? The buttons are arranged at the top right side, isn't it? The buttons are arranged at the top right side. That is also a part of another property of Lightning card. The buttons arranged at the top right side. Okay, and the attribute of the button. We have attribute for title, right? What is the attribute name of the title? What is the attribute name of the title? Title. The attribute name of the title is attribute name of the to render the title is title only. What about the attribute name of the buttons? It is going to be action. The attribute name is action. All of you are able to follow and keep talking. You're able to follow. Shall I proceed? Just 5 more minutes.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
See here, the attribute name is actions, so I put actions equal to, so what the action is going to contain? The action is going to contain the button. Okay, and if the attribute, sometimes the attribute accept the string value like this. The attribute accept the string value like this. But what about the attribute accept another component? Because another component, right? The attribute is basically action. The action is going to have the values like buttons. How will you include a button in normally in Lightning experience? How will you include a button? Lightning button like this, right? Label equal to new, for example. So this is going to be the value for this, right? Correct. So we cannot value this attribute like this, because attribute accepting another component, array of component, because you see I can also include multiple components here, multiple buttons here, array of components. Okay, if you go here, specification. So what is the documentation? Yeah, actions. The placeholder for actionable components such as lightning menu, lightning button, like this. If you see the counterpart ARA, I think the documentation is somewhat clear. Yeah, here action type is what? A component, array of component. Action type is array of component. The title can be object, title can be text or another component. If it is another component, we have to follow different method here. Let's see the back to LWC. See here, how to place a button. The button needs to be placed in a particular slot. They use this slot method. For example, yeah, yeah, yes. You have to use this slot equal to action. Exactly. Yeah, correct. So if you see here, the button I like this. Okay. And where do you like to place this? The button. I have a button here. Okay, I have a button here. Where do you like to place this button? I like to place this button into the slot action. Okay, so slot equal to action. And that is my attribute name, which accepts the array of components. Okay, so yeah, and let me apply the variant also. Like this. You know the color is looks black, right? Why it is? I think I changed the a theme. I think I changed the theme of the Lightning experience. I look into it later. I'm not sure whether it's looking black, but this is green. No, why it is black? Anywhere any changes I made or what happened? I don't know.
Variant
I will
should
check.
be what is variant? Sorry, Ranjit. What is variant here?
Variant is used to apply the stylings for the button. If you remember the first session we had, no.
Access. Variant is access. You applied variant is access.
Variant is to apply the appearance, change the appearance of your button. Variant applicable variants are success, brand, neutral, base, destructive. Destructive means it looks red background, right? So that's for button
Okay.
attribute variant. Yeah. You need more. You need to
Okay.
practice more example. I come up with more examples better today later, so that you practice more. So
And
practice the lightning.
one doubt.
Yeah. Hmm.
Go to that component which the SLDS component you have updated, right? In the code, VS Code.
Yeah.
So here, yeah, here the attribute for the button is slot, right? Not actions.
This slot is applicable for where do you like to place this button? That slot deciding that. Okay, slot determines where do you like to place this button.
Okay.
I like to play. It's like a placeholder, deciding the placeholder. Where do you like to place this component? I like to place this component into actions attribute of lightning card. So normally,
Okay.
actions is going to be here.
Yeah.
That is attribute of lightning card. But using this slot, we can place the component into the right slot of the parent component. So the slot you refer, right? It's going to be a child, you referred in the child component. Where do you like to place this particular current component into the parent slot? Where? In the action slot. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll wind up. Even I need to catch up somewhere. I'm not given a tutorial now today. I'll give it later. I just copy paste this example alone for your reference. The other notes I will give later. Okay. Other notes definitely I'll draft and walk through it tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay.
Ranjit, tomorrow class, is there any possibility to reschedule only for tomorrow morning? I have some work. I mean, to drop my brother at the airport. So afternoon 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 is fine for you or any others? Only for tomorrow.
How about others? 2 to 3 is okay for me for now. I don't have other training session. So you others are
Just Sugandhi.
Yeah, I will be okay.
I'm
No
also
problem.
okay.
Okay, tomorrow 2 to 3.
Then tomorrow alone 2 to 3. Yeah, Ranjit. Sorry.
I have other important work, but I just adjust it, no problem.
Oh, okay. Otherwise, you suggest some other time also, Ranjit.
No, this time is
Sometimes-
fine for me.
Ah.
2 to 3 is fine. Let me complete it. Yeah.
Okay, Ranjit. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Okay. You have in the same folder. You have a lightning notes too. For today example. That's it. The other notes I will draft and upload it later.
Ranjit, I don't have access. Can you please provide me access now?
I already know.
No, there is no email received to me or anything.
No. I think that day I given that link in the chat window.
Link.
Wait.
The link is opening, Rajesh.
You have that link, Muthu?
Yeah, I have. I will share to you.
Yeah, share it in the chat window now. Possible? Or share with them later. No problem.
Sure. I will share it here now. I copy it.
Okay, thank you. I will note it. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay then. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.